Well, a very, very happy Wednesday morning to everyone. Welcome to the John Quintero Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Very happy you could join us. Fun time of year. Very fun time of year talking Padres baseball. And we got a lot to share with you today regarding our San Diego Padres. Real quick, business-wise, if you're tuning in for the first time, please subscribe. Hopefully you enjoy the show. Please like, please share, please tell a friend. And if you'd like to be a member of our Gold Glove package, for $2.99 a month. It helps defray some of our costs, and we, of course, always appreciate the supers we get throughout the course of the program. So, again, our Gold Glove package, $2.99 a month, and on our YouTube page, it'll say join. You can just hit that, and it takes just a minute or two, and you can get signed up and help defray some of our costs on the program. I figured we'd have a little fun today. And what I want to do, I always am very interested to hear what the fans of San Diego think about the history of San Diego sports. And we've had, an incredible amount of great athletes in all the variety of different sports, both male and female. And I thought today, before I get into talking about the Padres, and we got big college basketball tonight with San Diego State hosting Utah State. I figured we'd throw this out today. So when we get to Coach's Crew, of course, you're going to have comments about the Padres or the Aztecs or whoever you'd like to talk about today. But I want you to give me a name. Who is your all-time favorite San Diego athlete? I've got several, and I don't know if I could put them in order, but I've got several over the years. And I've got a couple on the female side as well. And I'll tell you, my two favorite San Diego female athletes that I covered, Gail Devers out of Sweetwater High School, UCLA, and of course, gold medal winner, won several medals at the Olympics over the years, and Shannon McMillan, the great soccer player out of San Pasqual. She went to college at Portland, played for a number of years on the national team, and those are my two favorite female athletes here in San Diego, aside from my children, of course. On the men's side, I'm going to let you decide that for me. I've got a few, and I'll maybe share those towards the end of the program. But I'd really like you to take part in this. You've got a favorite female athlete or a favorite male athlete. Go ahead and stick that in Coach's Crew today, and we'll get to that before too long. I just thought that'd be kind of fun today. I'll tell you one of the great athletes of all time, and I know nobody would probably mention him. I mention him only because I played against him and watched him play a lot at San Diego High School. He went to San Diego State, left San Diego State, went to the Philippines, then he went to USIU. We would have played together, but I was done playing, and he came in after spending time in the Philippines. And then 5 years after he got done playing his last high school football game, he got drafted by the Seattle Seahawks, one of the great athletes I think San Diego's ever had. He never played professionally, but is Presnell Gilbert, better known as Percy Gilbert out of San Diego High School. He's one of the great athletes in the history of San Diego. I mean, he was just an absolutely amazing athlete, and I had the opportunity to play against Perce a couple of different times in my high school basketball career, and actually fared pretty well. My team didn't, but I did when I was a junior and senior in high school. But give me your guy or girl, or give me a combination of both. I'd love to hear from you. It's always kind of fun to throw that topic out. Okay, let's get to the Padres. Padres today. They host the Angels, and today will be the first spring date for Michael King. First date out on the mound for Michael King. Been throwing his bullpens, but going to go out there, and I would imagine going to go an inning, maybe two, kind of see where he's at a little bit. It's always great after you've been throwing bullpens to get out there and actually have somebody stand in there that's in a different uniform than yours. So Michael King going to go today at Peoria against the Angels at 12:10. Now, let's get to some Padre news. And I'm going to start with Matt Waldron. Matt Waldron pitched about 3 days ago and pitched well. Pitched a couple of innings, didn't give up any runs, and then wasn't feeling well. And he went to the hospital, and they found out that he had an infection in his rear end. And believe me, I've had some issues with that myself. and he ended up having hemorrhoid surgery, and they had to drain the poison that was in his body. So he's going to be laid up for a while, and he's out of the hospital, but he's not going to pitch for a while. And here's the problem with Matt Waldron. He was probably on the outside looking into the five-man rotation, and I'll talk about that rotation a little bit here in a minute. But the problem with Matt Waldron, he's a great team guy. 2 years ago, I thought he pitched great. Last year, he only pitched in one big league game and had that oblique. Remember, he hurt it in spring training, and they said, "Oh, he'll be back in a couple of weeks." Well, he didn't pitch much last year. Pitched in AAA, only had one opportunity in the big leagues. Knuckleball guy, trying to work on some of his other secondary pitches. Not going to blow you away. He's going to throw 92, 93, but throw the knuckler up there and a little bit of a breaking ball. But he's a good guy, and he's the type of guy you want to keep in the organization because he can go out there and give you innings. Now, chances were he wasn't going to make this ball club anyways. In some ways, this could be a blessing in disguise for the Padres, not necessarily for Matt Waldron, because Matt Waldron is out of options. So when they get ready to cut down the roster, and if Matt Waldron's not on it, he would have to go out on waivers. And if you went through waivers, then nobody claimed him. The Padres could re-sign him to a minor league contract, and he'd go down to the minor leagues. And then if they wanted to bring him up, they'd have to add him back to the 40-man roster. So I'm thinking right now, one thing as a general manager, you always want to have the ability to do is keep as many guys in your organization as you possibly can who you think can help you in some way, shape, or form. So I don't know anything. I haven't talked to anybody on this, but been around baseball a long time. He's obviously going to start the year on the IL because he's not going to get back on the mound until mid to late March. And remember, the Padres home opener and season opener is March 26th against the Detroit Tigers, and more than likely going to see the two-time Cy Young Award winner, Tarek Skubal, going for the Tigers on that day. So what you do with Matt Waldron, you got a couple of different options. You could put him on the IL, and then you could send him down to the minor leagues for 20 days if he's on the IL, or you could put him on the 60-day IL, and that doesn't count against the 40-man roster. So you could actually put him on the 60-day IL. He'd still be there, and then you go ahead and add somebody to the 40-man roster. And then once he has to come off, then you got to make a determination. Are you keeping him? Is he pitching well enough? Is he a guy you want to bring up at that point in time? Or you expose him to waivers and he may end up with a different organization. So in a variety of ways, this could work out for both ends. It'll give Matt Waldron an opportunity to get healthy, get back on the mound, work at his craft, something he had a hard time doing last year because of injuries. So we'll see where it goes. So that's the situation with Matt Waldron. Now, let's talk a little bit about yesterday. Padres get beat yesterday over at Sloan Park. And the thing that's amazing me, and I know anytime the Dodgers play, you're going to have a huge crowd. And the Cubs, they have great fans over there. I've been to Sloan Park, beautiful ballpark. But, man, it's a spectacle when the Cubs play spring training games. You've got a lot of older people that have followed the Cubs forever that live in Arizona, and they pack that ballpark. Yesterday, they had 9,411 for a Tuesday spring training game. Now that's a great number on a weekend, let alone on a Tuesday. I mean, normally you get 3,500, maybe 5,000 on a Tuesday or Wednesday, but they had 9,411 yesterday. Amazing. Cubs win at 6-5. Padres out hit them 12-9. I'm going to go through the pitching a little bit and kind of give you my take on that. And we're going to get out to Coach's Crew very quickly this morning. So if you're out there, again, who's your favorite all-time San Diego athlete? And if you got any Padre questions, get them ready. Yesterday, the Padres started 34-year-old left-hander Marco Gonzalez. He hadn't been on a big league mound in over 18 months. He went out there. He was emotional. I read the article this morning. He said when the national anthem hit, man, it was really getting to him. And you know what? When you're coming back from flexor tendon surgery or any type of arm or elbow or shoulder injury, first time out, you can't expect wonders. Number one, the first thing you're going to struggle with historically is with your command. And his command wasn't good yesterday. But yesterday, he won an inning and two-thirds, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned, no walks, 2 strikeouts, and hit 2 batters. You know what? When I was writing this down yesterday and I was listening to the game, this is to be expected. I'm not. I'm washing this clean from the slate on Marco Gonzalez. Now he may end up being a disaster. He may not be able to come back, or he may come back a year from now a lot better. It's kind of the same thing with Joe Musgrove. Joe coming back from Tommy John, been throwing bullpens, and we're going to see him before too long in a regular spring training game. But again, you're going through it. You haven't been out there, and usually command is the last thing that comes back. Your velocity is usually pretty good, but the command can come and go. So with Marco Gonzalez, I don't even count this. This is like a scrimmage. We'll see what he does next time out. And you know what? He may not even make this team. I mean, you got a lot of guys, and we'll talk more about the fifth man in the rotation because I think Randy Vasquez, I think he's the guy for the fourth spot. Even though they haven't announced that, I think they want to keep the competition open, keep everybody motivated, everybody thinking they got an opportunity. But you got a lot of guys vying for that fifth spot, let alone the fourth spot. But I think Randy Vasquez, on what he did a year ago and how he looked in his first outing the other day, I think he's the guy for me. Okay. But Marco Gonzalez, we'll see what he does next time out and see how he feels today, by the way. After going out there, the emotions and trying to get big league hitters out, see how he feels today. But when you haven't done something for a year and a half, you're normally not very consistent. He certainly was not consistent. You can throw all the bullpens you want, but when you're going against guys that are trying to inflict harm on you, a little bit different. Okay, now some of the other guys I wanted to talk about, kind of run through who pitched yesterday. Ron Marinaccio, who came up last year, and this guy's got big league experience. I mean, he's pitched in the big leagues before last year with the Padres. Did a good job last year coming out of the bullpen, giving his opportunities with the Padres yesterday, an inning and a third, a strikeout. I think he could be one of the last guys to make the ball club out of spring training in the bullpen. Bullpen's going to be very good. Francis Pena, don't know a lot about him. He got cuffed around pretty good yesterday. 2/3 of an inning, gave up 2 hits. 3 earned runs, gave up a home run, walked a couple, not a good effort. Jackson Wolf, who got cuffed around pretty good in his first outing, came back yesterday, won an inning and a third with a couple of punch outs. Ryan Oach, don't know about him, not going to make the ball club, but a big arm, 1 inning yesterday, a couple of walks. Ethan Rootzon, an inning, 2 hits, and a strikeout. Overall yesterday, Padre pitching, 6 runs, 9 hits, 4 walks, 2 hit batters, 9 strikeouts, and gave up a home run. So they got beat 6-5. Padres right now are 2-3 in the spring. I'm not going to worry about that. Taking a look at the offense yesterday, Bryce Johnson. Now here's a guy that has worked his way into the ball club. Did a nice job last year. We saw him back in 2024. He came up, played good defense, didn't hit much. Last year he hit very well for the Padres. Did a really nice job and is definitely on the radar. He's a switch hitter, not a lot of power, but a guy that can play all 3 outfield spots, can pinch run. I mean, he is the ultimate fifth outfielder, okay, for me. He's not necessarily a fourth outfielder. He's more of a fifth outfielder. He's kind of a jack of all trades, can help you in a variety of different ways. So Bryce Johnson yesterday, 2 for 3, a walk, a run scored. Nick Castellanos gets another start yesterday at first base. Doing a pretty good job on there, by the way. Yesterday went 2 for 3, had a 2-run double in the ball game. Castellanos, I think, when it's all said and done, he can end up being the starter. I think he ends up being the starter, either at first or the designated hitter. That's what I think. I don't think you can bring in a $20 million ball player that you're getting for $780,000 and sit him on the bench. And you know what? Gavin Sheets did a great job. And Gavin Sheets last year did a much better job hitting against left-handed pitching than he's ever done. And he was given that opportunity. So I'll be interested to see how the Padres are going to use Gavin Sheets. I think he's probably the first baseman, but I think on opening day, I don't think he pitches or he doesn't hit. In fact, he may not start the first couple of games if the Tigers decide to go with Skubal and Framber Valdez at number 2. he may be coming off the bench those first couple of games. So I think Castellanos going to have an opportunity to win that spot. The other guy that I'm not going to poo-poo is Ty France, another guy, a veteran that can hit. Where are you going to play Ty France? I think there's a spot for him. And how about Miguel Andujar? Miguel Andujar yesterday, a designated hitter, 1 for 2 and a walk, swinging the bat so far at a 286 clip in spring training. Terso Ornelas, off the 40-man roster, cleared waivers, re-signed with the Padres, 1 for 2 yesterday. And a former number 1 pick of the Tampa Bay Rays, Nick Schnell, yesterday a 2-run homer. Now, here was a guy that was a first-round draft pick. It hasn't worked out, but he's off to a really nice start in Padres camp right now, Nick Schnell. The other guy we got to pay attention to, we talked about him on Monday, is Jose Miranda. Yesterday, 1 for 2. So far, he's 667 in the spring. He's 6 for 9 with 2 doubles, a homer, 6 RBIs. Did a great job last year. Didn't get much big league time. Hit 167 and 36 at bats, a homer, 5 RBIs, a 263 career hitter. He's another guy that I don't think will make the ball club, but he's in the mix. And the great thing about the Padres right now is that they've got a lot of competition going in spring training, and I like that a great deal. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about that 5th spot. And we haven't seen German Marquez in a game yet. We haven't seen Walker Buehler in a game. We're not going to see Griffin Canning in a game. Griffin Canning, maybe May. I don't know. That goes back and forth. I watch him throw bullpens, and he looks really good in bullpens. But they're very concerned about him fielding his position, making that quick movement. And, we'll see where it goes. But he's throwing off the mound. His arm's healthy. But I think we're looking at May. They want him to continue to do some agility work and not do it at a high threshold at this point in time. I don't know. I mean, if German Marquez is healthy, I like him. Walker Buehler, I think, gives you a lot of experience, big arm guy. We know he's had 2 Tommy John surgeries. Walker Buehler, German Marquez, if they're both healthy, I don't know. I don't know who you take. I guess only time's going to tell on that. I like Marquez. I like Buehler too, but I like Marquez a lot. When he's healthy, I think he's really good. Walker Buehler, for me, can go one way or the other. He can be either really good or kind of struggle. There's not a lot of middle ground. And I guess you could probably say that about German Marquez as well. But only time is going to tell. And you got a lot of guys. I mean, Kyle Hart's been throwing the ball pretty well down there. J.P. Sears got cuffed around pretty good in his first start of spring. But again, I'm throwing out the first start. When we get to the third and fourth opportunities in the spring, then I'm going to be a little more concerned if a guy's, giving up 4 or 5 runs in an inning and 2/3. But that's kind of where I'm at with the pitching staff right now. Padres lineup. I brought this up the other day, and I know it's been written about in the paper. It's going to be interesting. I was on yesterday with Sammy Long Fletch on 760 with 6 yesterday. So they called me and said, hey, can you come on today? So I was on at 12:30 on Tuesday afternoon with Sammy Long, and he asked me, what do I think about the lineup? Kind of reminded me of, what did Lasorda think of Bavacqua's performance? Something like that. Or Kingman's performance, I guess it was. He just banged on Bavacqua because he hated the Padres and hated Bavacqua. But anyways, the lineup, I think Fernando ends up being the leadoff hitter. I really do. I don't see him hitting in the 4th spot. I don't know. Visually, I just don't see that through the course of the year. I see him being a leadoff hitter. I don't know if he's running as well as he did 3-4 years ago. Remember he had that hip? And maybe that slowed him down. Maybe just, getting a little bit bigger, getting older, getting bulked up a little bit. He's in great shape. There's no question about that. But, you put on a little bit of weight and you've had a hip injury. Maybe you're not running quite as well. He looks pretty good in the outfield. On the bases, though, sometimes he doesn't look as quick as he once did for me. I don't know. Maybe it's me. But I'd still like to see him lead off. I think Padres are a better ball club when he's leading off. I mentioned the other day, I think Bogarts, for me, I'd hit him down in the order. I'd hit him about 6th. If Castellanos is in the lineup, I'm probably hitting him fifth. I would probably go right now in a perfect world. I would probably go with Fernando leading off. I would probably go with Manny hitting second, Jackson Merrill hitting third. I would maybe Castellanos fourth, or maybe Ramon Laureano. Maybe Gavin Sheets. If Gavin Sheets is in there, maybe he hits. If it's a right-hand pitcher, maybe he hits fourth. But, Manny can go either second or third. I kind of like Manny in second because he can spray that ball to right center field. You get Fernando on, next thing you know, you got runners in first and third, nobody out in the bottom of the first inning. I kind of like that. But I think Xander Bogaerts hits down in the lineup for me this year. I'm not going to put him in the top three or four. I mean, I don't even see him hitting fifth. The fifth spot is a big RBI spot. Not that the sixth isn't, but I think I'd hit either Castellanos or Ramon Laureano in that spot, and then probably go with Bogaerts sixth, Cronenworth, probably seventh. Fermin's probably going to hit ninth in the lineup. It'll be interesting. Maybe on Friday, I'll come up with my own lineup and I'll share that with you on Friday. But if you got a thought on that, let me know. Okay, let's get out and get to Coach's Crew. And again, the big question today, who's your all-time favorite San Diego athlete? I want to hear what you have to say. This could be very interesting. Okay, let's see what we got today. Let's have some fun with this. Casey King. Good morning, Coach. As for my favorite athlete from San Diego, going with Marcus Allen, who was fun to watch for my USC Trojans and then the NFL. You know what? I think a lot of people would go with Marcus Allen. I think Marcus Allen. I think Junior Seau would be another name. If you wanted to go the football route out of Oceanside and went to USC and had a marvelous Hall of Fame career with the Chargers and the Patriots, as we know. But we know him as a San Diego Charger. But that's a good one. Marcus Allen, can't argue with that. A lot of people would go with Marcus Allen on that, Casey. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Marcus Allen, by the way, was also an outstanding high school basketball player down at Lincoln. Shep, I thought he would be better as a pro, but Reggie Bush. Yeah, Reggie Bush. I did Reggie Bush's last high school football game. They got beat by Oceanside that night. And you know what was amazing? They did a great job all night long bottling him up. And the only two big runs he had were as a punter. He had two fake punts and ran for a big distance, but he lost his last high school football game to the Oceanside Pirates. The year before, I did Alex Smith's final high school game on Channel 4 San Diego, and they won their championship game that night. But yeah, Reggie senior year, they got beat by Oceanside. Yeah, Reggie, I'll tell you what, man, when he was at SC, he had a huge career. And you know what? He had a good NFL career, not a Hall of Fame like NFL career, but his numbers were pretty good. His numbers were pretty damn good. And of course, he could catch the ball in the backfield, return guy. I mean, watching him return punts was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely. All right, a couple of pretty good names right out of the block there. What else we got today? Oh man, we only got two questions so far. You got to be kidding me. Where is everybody on a Wednesday? Where's everybody on a Wednesday? We'll get back to that here in a minute. But Steve Tejas, Coach, how about Alan Trammell? Solid career, classy man. Well, Steve, you got that one right. He is a classy man. I saw Alan just about a month ago when I spoke at the Jocks Lunch, and he was there. Of course, a lot of people know him from Kearney High School. And I think people that maybe weren't around that time frame, they know he was a great baseball player. He came out of Kearney, but actually in high school, Alan Trammell was a better basketball player than he was a baseball player at Kearney. Yeah, amazing. Yet he got to the big leagues when he was 19 years old. He was drafted before you knew it. He was in the big leagues, but he was a great all CIF basketball player along with being an all CIF baseball player. But man, he was a great high school basketball player, and he played on some damn good teams at Kearney. I mean, the best teams in the county. That's a good one right there, Steve. I like that. And boy, you hit it on the head. He is a one classy dude, one classy guy. Okay, what else we got? I think a lot of people are sleeping at the switch today, is what I think. Okay, college basketball. We'll get into that. Tonight, Viejas Arena, 8 o'clock. I don't even know what channel it's on. I know it's on TV tonight, probably CBS Sports Network, but don't hold me to that. Aztecs come into the game, 1.5 point favorites. I don't know about this Aztec team. I really don't. I was looking up Miles Bird's numbers. He's averaged a little over 10 a game, which sounds good, but he hadn't played well. He really has. He hadn't shot the ball worth a darn. I mean, he's shooting like 32% on 3-pointers. I mean, if you're a good 3-point shooter, you got to be shooting at least 37 to 40%. Some guys shoot 41, 42. He's not a great shooter. I don't think you'll see him play in the NBA. Now, he may end up trying to dip his toe into the NBA again this year, but you know what? You got to shoot the ball better. Pretty good free throw shooter at 81% right now. But on the year is the field goals, and he gets a lot of dunks and drives to the basket. He's shooting 41%. That's not very good. That's not very good at all. You got to be at 45 or better from the field. Okay. So yeah, I don't know about Bird. I don't know if he'll be back next year. Who knows what's going to go on with the Magoon Guath? I don't know. When he's played, at times he's been good. Other times he hadn't been very good. I really don't know what's going on with that guy. I have a feeling he won't be back next year. And you know what? Maybe that's for the better. I don't know. This Aztec team, I got to be honest with you, is not the most likable team to watch. In fact, it's been painful to watch some of the time this year. They got some talent. I don't think they have great talent though. I like some of their younger players better than I like these so-called name guys. I mean, I've always liked Reese Dixon Waters. He's having a good year. Might make the all-conference team. Bird was a preseason favorite to be the Mountain West Conference Player of the Year. You got to win that. Somebody from Utah State's probably going to win that. And I'll tell you this: Aztecs got lucky. They got lucky that they're even in this thing. Utah State late on Saturday night lost at Nevada. And then Nevada last night at home again, they're playing pretty well. They beat New Mexico. So the way the standings are right now, Utah State at 13-3. They're 23-4 overall. And then the Aztecs at 12-4. So if the Aztecs win tonight, they're tied for first. I don't know how they're doing that. Of course, they were supposed to walk away with this conference title before the season ever started. But if they win tonight, they're actually tied. But then they've got to go on the road Saturday. They got to go to New Mexico, an early morning game at 11 o'clock. Then they go to Boise State, and then they close out the regular season against UNLV. So they win tonight. Who knows? They could end up getting a piece of the conference title, or maybe winning it outright, or they could finish in second place. So, I mean, they've got 3 quad one games. Right now, they're out of the NCAA for me, unless they win the Mountain West Conference tournament. So they win tonight. They're putting themselves in a little bit better shape. And then you win on Saturday at New Mexico, and then you kind of exhale. Then you go up to Boise and take care of Leon Rice's ball club, and then you come home and you pulverize UNLV and you get ready for the Mountain West Conference tournament. As of right now, okay, let's pretend these 4 games right now aren't going to be played. If we were talking about the pairings today at 3:30, Aztecs are out of the NCAA tournament. They've got to put something together, and they got to play their best basketball of the year the next 2 weeks. It's that simple. The next 2 weeks, and then they can put themselves back in the conversation to where if they don't win the Mountain West Conference tournament or at least get to the semifinals, they can get an at-large bid. I think New Mexico very much on the bubble. I think right now they're outside the bubble. I don't think they're going to be able to get into the bubble right now unless they can take down San Diego State and kind of close out the rest of the year. That was a tough loss last night at Nevada. They let that game slip away. They were down early. They rallied, took the lead, couldn't hold it. Nevada ran by them and kind of closed them out there in the last couple of minutes of the ball game. But tonight, 8 o'clock, Aztecs taking on Utah State. You win, you're tied for first. You lose your 2 games back with 3 to play, and probably not going to have an opportunity to win the regular season conference title. Okay, tonight, USD's got 2 games left. Tonight at Oregon State at Gill Coliseum. And then they close out the regular season on Saturday at Portland. And then they go to the West Coast Conference Tournament next week. And as soon as they were to lose at the conference tournament, Steve Lavin's gone. They're going to be hiring a new basketball coach. Who that's going to be, I have no idea right now. But USD's got to do something out there. I mean, this basketball program is not good. Not good, to say the least. I thought Steve Lavin might be able to get it done. He had one winning year the first year, and it's been a constant turnstile of going in and out with players the last 3 years. So very unfortunate out there. Wish Coach Lavin the very, very best of luck. He's a good man, and I'm sure we'll probably see him again on TV next year. Also, tomorrow night, I got 2 games left. I got a game tomorrow night, Cal State Bakersfield coming to town to take on Clint Allard's UC San Diego Tritons. Tritons going for their 20th win of the year. Yeah, they're got 19 wins right now. They're 19-9, 9-7 in conference. Have won 3 straight. They got Cal State Bakersfield tomorrow night. They close out with a very entertaining Cal Poly team on Saturday night. It'll be senior night out there at Lion Tree Arena. If you haven't seen them play, you know what? A lot of fun. And I can tell you this, that Saturday night game, it'll be run, gun, and have fun. Cal Poly moves the ball up and down the court as fast as just about any team in college basketball. So it's a very entertaining watch. Whether they win or lose, they're not afraid to pump the ball up a little bit and hammer the glass. And UC San Diego, they'll run with them. They'll run with them. Clint Allard, I think, has done a really, really nice job in his first year as the head coach, taking over for Eric Olin with the Tritons. Okay, let's get back to some more questions. I'm sure we got a few more. I mean, for crying out loud, I want to hear from some of you fans that have lived in San Diego. Who is your all-time favorite San Diego athlete? Want to hear from you on that. Okay, Rome, if Tony Gwynn is eligible as an adopted San Diegan, San Diego State that would be my ultimate vote. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I didn't say he had to be born and raised in San Diego. Tony Gwynn would be right up there. You know, I got to tell you this, and I think most people that have been around me and listen to me on me and Tony had a really, really solid relationship, and it was more than a relationship; it was a friendship. And we talked a lot. We spent a lot of time together at the ballpark after batting practice, sitting in his cubicle next to him. Just a really good dude. And whenever I would go to spring training every year, Tony would go, "Hey, when do you come to spring training? When do you come to spring training?" I think there were 2 reasons why. Number one, he wanted to get the interview out of the way early in the week, but he also wanted to make sure that I got off to a great start over in Peoria. So he would always be my first guest on my first show on Monday night, because I would normally, like these guys now, they go over for 3 days and they're out of there. I was there for a week. I would go in there and I would do 5 shows, and I would run around that ballpark and complex from 7 o'clock in the morning till about an hour before I had to go on the air. I'd run back, take a shower, get freshened up, and kind of drive myself into the ground. But man, there was nothing better than going to spring training. And then I would do a show from 6 to 10, or some years 7 to 11. So, you know, I was putting in a pretty good 15, 16-hour day, running around Arizona for 11 or 12 hours out in the sun, come back and do a 4-hour radio program, let alone get prepared. But Tony always wanted to make sure I got off to a good start. And more times than not, we did. And we had a great week over there. I can't begin to tell you the guys that I dealt with. First of all, when Bruce Bochy was managing and Buddy Black, you go to spring training, they treated you like part of the ball club. They really did. And, you know, whether it be Kevin Towers or some of the other baseball people, Freddie Ullman, who's no longer with the organization, great guy, Josh, all these guys are great guys. And they made you feel a part of the ball club. Now, I think it's a little bit different. But you know, when Boach was in charge or Buddy was in charge, and by the way, a really nice article Wednesday morning in the paper on Buddy Black. In fact, I got it right here. You want to read this? Tom Krasovic, who covered the Padres forever. Nice article on Buddy today. Just talking about how much he loves baseball and how it's great to be back with the Padre organization. Talked a little bit about his responsibilities. He'll do a lot of evaluation of players. He's walking around the minor leagues right now, looking at different players. And I would imagine he's looking at a lot of the pitchers in the arms in the organization. And then he'll go down to the minor leagues. He'll travel around. He'll be around the big league club, I would imagine, quite a bit, and he'll always be, you know, close to answer any questions Craig Stammen may have. And of course, they got Scott Service, who had a nice run up there as a manager of Seattle's Mariners. He's in the organization for another year So there's a real good support system around Craig Stammen in his rookie year. But it talked about Buddy. He'll go out. Chris Kemp, the scouting director, if there's a certain guy, probably a pitcher that Chris Kemp would like to, cross check, he'll have Buddy, hey, why don't you go up to J. Sarah High School or Harvard Westlake or Torrey Pines or Granite Hills and, take a look at a pitcher. And, he may get on a plane and fly down to the SEC tournament or the ACC tournament and look at some of those Friday night starters. So having a guy like Buddy Black with his experience, not only as a manager, but a guy that played in the big leagues, was very successful left-handed pitcher in the big leagues, and a guy that was a pitching coach when the Angels won the World Series. Wealth of knowledge. This was a no-brainer hire with a guy that lives here, a guy that wants to be involved. Good job by AJ making it happen. How about that? AJ fires him in 2015, and he hires him in 2026. Isn't that funny how baseball goes around? But I'll tell you what, good man, and a good friend. All right, what else we got? Bob, my favorite San Diego athletes are Tony Gwynn, Junior Seau, Bill Walton. If we had to choose a fourth for our Mount Rushmore, I would add Bill Walton, honorable mentions, Tony Hawk, and Shaun White. Yeah, not bad. I mean, Tony Hawk and Shaun White, they brought a lot of notoriety to San Diego over the years. And Bill Walton, I guess you could go back and forth all you want on who's the greatest college player. One of my favorite players of all time was Pete Maravich. But when you're talking about the greatest college players of all time, it's for me, and I know Walton always acquiesced to say Kareem, but I'm going to tell you this. I think Walton was the best all-around college basketball player of all time. But you know what? I would say Kareem because he was so dominant and they outlawed the dunk. Think about that. For you younger fans, when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, then known as Lou Alcindor, when he was at UCLA, he used to just dunk the ball, and they outlawed the dunk because he had such a big advantage. But you know what? They did him a favor because he learned the sky hook. I wonder why more guys don't try the hook shot. I mean, seriously, that sky hook. Fake left, go right, sky hook a 17, good. How many times I hear Chick Hearn say that over the years? Fake right, go left, sky hook a 17, good. I mean, Kareem was amazing. And, I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a good man. There were times when I was a little kid, I kind of wondered what kind of guy he was, but watching a lot of the things he's done in his life, he's been a difference maker. He's been a tremendous difference maker, and I got a lot of respect for him. And I know Bill Walton had a lot of respect for him. But I would probably go with Lou Alcindor, a.k.a. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 1, and I would go with Bill Walton, 1A. I wouldn't even put him at 2. I'd put him at 1A. Those two guys, when they played at UCLA, and I was a kid growing up, I mean, it was unbelievable. It was can't miss TV. You had to watch at night. And the Dick Enberg calling the replays at 11:30. Dick Enberg used to tell me that even his dad, because in those days, you could listen on the radio. Fred Hessler was doing the radio on KMPC in Los Angeles. And you could, listen, but Mr. Enberg knew that his son was doing the game. So he would tell Dick, hey, don't call me after the game because I want to watch the game. I want to hear the game like it's live. And in those days, all the UCLA home games were taped late at 11:30 on Channel 5, Gene Autry station. And then the road games were live. So you had road games that were live, and the home games were taped late at 11:30. And I guarantee you 100% that the ratings for those 11:30 games back in the day with Lou Alcindor and Bill Walton and Curtis Rowe and Sidney Wicks and Henry Bibby, I guarantee you those ratings were off the chart in those days. That what Wooden had going up there at UCLA, unbelievable. We'll never see it again. But Bill Walton, good man. Really good man. I enjoyed my friendship with Bill. I didn't know him as well as I knew Tony Gwynn, but Bill would see me at an event. Hey, Coach, how you doing? And his brother Bruce, who passed away a few years prior to Bill, I actually played. And I'll tell you a quick story. When I was a junior and senior at Torrey Pines, I used to go up to open gym on Sunday night, and mostly adults. I was really the only kid that would show up, and I was, 16, 17 years of age. And at that time, Bruce Walton was playing in the NFL for the Dallas Cowboys. And, he weighed about 270, 275, and I weighed about, at that time, probably about 210. And so he would take me inside and muscle me. And then, but I could go out because I could shoot real well. I'd go out and knock down these shots. So for 2 years in a row, he doesn't know who I am. I'm just a high school kid showing up and playing on Sunday night. So years later, and I'm talking like 25 years later, we're at Ohio State. I did a show in a restaurant in Columbus, and Bruce Walton, who's a big radio executive, very well um, into the radio business and did very well for himself after his football career was over. He was eating in the restaurant with a bunch of guys that came on the trip, and they had actually flown on the plane with the Aztecs, and I was part of the broadcast team, but I was doing this radio show. So I walked over to the table after the show was over, and I go, Bruce, I go, my name's John Quintero. Oh, Coach, yeah, how you doing? I go, you don't really know who I am, do you? He kind of looked at me with this strange look. He goes, well, yeah, you're the guy on the radio. You do the Aztec games. Yeah. And he goes, you've been around San Diego a long time. Yeah. And um, I go, I'm the kid that used to play an open gym at Torrey Pines back in 74, 75, and 76. And we started talking, but it was really funny because, all these years later, I knew who he was. He didn't know who I was because I was just an anonymous kid that was a pretty good high school basketball player and would play him each and every night. He'd just coming in to get a workout in, just, matching up against a 17-year-old who could shoot a little bit. And it was really pretty funny. But Bruce was a really nice man, very nice man. We got anything else on the coach's crew? What else we got out there? Bob, typo, my fourth was Ted Williams. Well, Ted Williams would be a good one. Hoover High School, signed with the AAA Padres out of Hoover. And then eventually we know what he did, not only with the Boston Red Sox, but what he did as his service time. And man, Ted Williams, what a guy. What a guy. I remember him speaking one year at the Hall of Champions. Listen to him speak at the Hall of Champions dinner one night. It's pretty amazing. And man, I'll tell you what, he went for a while. You get him the microphone, man, he went forever. We didn't get out of there like 10 after 11 that night. But you know what? I know a lot of people were getting antsy. They wanted to get home. I just sat there, man. You got an opportunity to listen to Ted Williams. And it was the only opportunity I ever had to hear him speak live and in person. So it was pretty cool. But Bob, thank you very much. I appreciate that. What else we got? Okay, let's get to Coach's mailbag. See what we got on that today. That's always interesting. All right, let's go ahead and pop those up. User, would you rather see Tatis home runs or play shortstop? I'd rather, at this point in time, I'd rather see him play right field. You know why? Because shortstop, he's going to dive, he's going to get hurt. Yeah, he can dive in the outfield, but I'd rather see him play the outfield. He's won 2 Gold Gloves. He's won a platinum glove. I think his days as shortstop are over. There's no reason to move him back to shortstop. He may like to play that, but you know what? I'd rather see him rob home runs and stay healthy. That's kind of the way I look at it. Right. Roll a couple more up here. What else we got? Doug, what will Bud Black be doing for the team in his role? Like I mentioned, he's going to be right now. He's out on the backfields a lot. I'm sure he goes out in the backfields in the morning, and now when the minor league guys start playing games in the afternoon, they may have. I don't know if they've started yet. I don't. I think there's some guys in camp, but when they'll start playing afternoon games, they'll probably go and see certain arms they want him to take a look at. And then when the season starts, he'll be here with the big league ball club. And then he'll probably go up to Elsinore to see their top prospects or see, some guys that have good arms. And then I would imagine he'll go around to all the different minor leagues. I would imagine he'll make a few trips to San Antonio this year, probably El Paso, probably do that all in the same one while he's down in Texas. And he'll just jump around in the different minor leagues and look at tape. And then as we get into May, probably go out and take a look at some of the college pitchers as they're getting deeper and high school players. So he'll do a little bit of everything, a lot of scouting, a lot of evaluation work. And, I guarantee he'll be in touch with AJ morning, noon, or night, whether he likes it or not. All right, what else we got here? Okay, that'll do it. Hey, nice show today. A lot of information. I thought we'd get a little more participation today. I thought we'd have a few more people wanting to weigh in on their favorite San Diego athlete of all time, but that's okay. We'll do that again sometime down the road. Reminder, if you're tuned in for the first time, please subscribe, please like, please share, please tell a friend. And if you'd like to help the channel out, would very much appreciate it if you join our Gold Glove package for $2.99 a month. And also appreciate all the supers that we get. Friday, we'll have more Padres information for you. We'll recap the Aztec game, get you ready for their game on Saturday at New Mexico. And who knows what else we may come up with. We're also going to tell you about a big card show coming up this weekend as well. These card shows are just absolutely fantastic. I've been paying attention to these quite a bit, and we'll tell you more about the big one coming up on this weekend on Friday. Until then, Coach John Cantor, have a great day, everyone. Enjoy Padres baseball. We'll talk to you again on Friday morning at 9 a.m. right here on San Diego Sports Talk, the John Cantor Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Bye-bye.